You are good. Oh, Jesus. Okay. My name is David. I'm from Praha, Czech Republic. Yes. And but my passion is climbing, so I climb mountains. Some of the things that I learned in the mountains, I also apply in my private or professional life, and this is what I'm going to talk about. There are just a few of them. I don't know how many of them I will actually mention in 10 minutes. So, this is Mount Everest, north side. This is the first point from where you can actually see the mountain. At that moment, you have to be 100% sure why you are standing there, what you are doing there. Because if you believe it or not, in both cases, you are right. So if you believe you can make it to the top, or if you believe you cannot make it to the top, you are probably right. Now, this is very true also in our lives. During the last 2 days, I met a lot of people with lots of beliefs, lots of dreams, lots of visions. Many of you have dreams. How many people does have a dream in this room? Hey, can you stand up? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Look around. Not on me. Look around. You can sit down now. Thank you. Around 20 years ago, I was in the same position as you. My dream was to find my own company. I was a university student. But then I went to corporate world. I said to myself, 1 year, maybe 2 years, I will spend at the corporation, and then I go and find my own company. This is what I want to do for a living. I didn't know what the company would do, actually, but I wanted to have my own company. I went to this corporation. I spent 2 years there. After 2 years, I had a great time. It was fantastic. So I said to myself, maybe 1 more year, maybe 1 more. I ended up being there 5 years. After 5 years, at the age of 30, I had to tell to myself, David, where's your dream? I didn't have such a great community that you have. I've never been to AIESEC. I mentioned this dream to a couple of friends, but it's not like standing and looking around and seeing all those people. Remember this. Remember the moment when you stood up. There are many people who want to start up their own companies. Ivan, how many companies do you want to start? 8 companies. 8 companies. Now, when you are in a position like me at the age of 30, being in the corporation, maybe, I wish there was a Morpheus coming to me and saying, David, you know, here's the blue pill or red pill. Which one do you want? So remember the time when you were standing and lots of people looking into your eyes, sharing that you have a dream. Because after a couple of years in the corporation, it's very easy to start losing sight of your dreams. So be careful. I don't know what motivates you, apart from the dreams. I'm always motivated by the goals. This is the Daulagiri. I first saw it in 2003, and in 2006 I skied down this line. That was a big goal for me at that point. Big goals have the ability to really motivate you, to really get the best out of you. You have to be afraid of those big goals, because if you are afraid, you what? Marcus, is Marcus here? If you are afraid, you grow. I think there are lots of you who has those dreams, who have those visions or goals. Sometimes, you know, founding 8 companies, there's a long way, okay, to the 8 companies. It's first, second, third. And it sounds big, it looks big. Celebrate, you know, founding each of those companies on the way, because to the 8 is a long walk. If you have your dream, you share it with the people. It's the same in the mountains. When you are in the mountains, you have to find the right people that you are going to the top with. It's important to share the values with those people, because sometimes you realize that you have to spend a week or 2 weeks in the same tent with the same person. You have to have some topics to talk about. You have to have something to share. You cannot start fighting after a day, because it could be 2 weeks. This is Pavla. She's not a professional climber. This is the person I climbed Dalagri with. She's a salesperson as me. I sell training courses. She sells medical pills. This is something we have in common. We have the common vision of what we do. Not vision, but the common understanding of what we do. We had plenty of time to talk about. And the main thing was we shared the same values. When I started Develor in the Czech Republic, there were 2 of us just fresh out of the corporation at the age of about 30. We were looking for a first employee. We didn't have a clue whom we want, actually. We just knew that we want a guy or a person whom we share the values with. Guess what? Our first employee was the president of the Czech AIESEC at that point. I didn't know, well, I knew what the AIESEC was. I didn't have a high opinion of AIESECers at that time. But I realized that this guy whom we hired, he shares the same values. We have the same understanding of the world. We have similar dreams. We are driven. We have something very general that you call leadership. And guess what? A couple of years later on, I found there's Menia. She's accidentally from AIESEC. There's Milan, who's accidentally from AIESEC. There is Aneta, who is accidentally from AIESEC, the Biorenza lady. Suddenly, I found myself around AIESECers. Can you imagine my feelings of frustration? I needed a hug. That's why I heard Menia. Anyway, currently we are one of the most successful companies on the Czech market. I believe we are successful because of the people we have there, because they share the values. And as I said, we have the same understanding of the world around. That's the most important thing. Don't hire people even in your companies for skills. Hire them for attitude. Okay. When you start working in the corporate world, you will realize one thing. Here in AIESEC, you have a very strong culture. I think it's a feedback-driven culture. When you go into the corporations, at least some of them, feedback is not a usual thing. Feedback is something that you tend to forget about. In climbing, I love climbing because it gives you immediate feedback of how you are doing. Because when you look here, this is the summit. And the summit tells me how well I'm doing. If you look at the collective sports, you have the score. You have the people who will evaluate you, like coaches or teammates or TV, press, whoever. You need the same thing in the corporation. I believe that this environment of intensive feedback creates performance. Creates great things, and people tend to forget about it in the companies. You have the feedback, but it's sometimes formal, sometimes once, 2 times per year. I know it sounds weird to you, but once you leave AIESEC, there is a world out there. It's a different world. It's full of people who don't share the same values as you. If you heard the story yesterday from the Ministry of Finance in Germany, it's the same story in the Czech Republic. It's the same story in all of your countries. There are weird things out there. So feedback, remember the feedback. There will be lots of ups and downs on your way to achieve your dreams. That's why you need the people around, because when you're down, you need somebody to hug you. You need somebody to drink with. You need somebody to cry with. When you are up there, then you need somebody who tells you, listen, you're not as good as you think you are. This guy is the first amputee who climbed Mount Everest. This is a guy without legs, with artificial leg. He climbed Mount Everest. His name is Mark Inglis. On the way down, his gas mask broke down, and he ended up with having amputated all his fingers. Whenever I saw this picture, I think of Mark Inglis, what he had to overcome on his way to achieve his dream. And when I have difficulties, when I feel I'm down, I always think of him, and he gives me strength to continue. I have 15 seconds left. What I wanted to tell you. I think you all have dreams. You have to believe in those dreams. Go after those dreams surrounded by people whom you trust, whom you share values with. I think each of us has his own Everest or Dhaulagiri in your lives. Go get it. Thank you.
Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.